All right, so we've been on a journey to get this garage cleaned up and organized, and you can see I still got a pretty good pile behind me. So today we are going to be organizing the garage and using some tools to do it.
So to organize the garage, we have purchased from Costco this 12 bin heavy duty tote organizing rack so that we can finally have everything hopefully in some bit of cleanliness. So we're going to show you how easy it is to build this and get it set up.
All right, so when I first opened the box, I was a little disappointed because this looks like it's metal, but it's actually plastic. So I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to want this or not. And I thought, well, okay, let me put one together and just see. And actually, I'm fairly impressed. It's actually pretty sturdy. So it's a lot cheaper than the other option that's out there, which is out of stock, which is the Gorilla Rack. And you just can't find those anywhere. So these, at the time we put it together, were about $149 at Costco. And but once I got it put together, the plastic bothered me less and less as I put it together. All right, so what we got was a bin warehouse that basically holds up to 12 of the individual tubs. It's made by a company called ProSlat, and you can get it through Costco. All right, so we got a pallet of the Green-Made 27-gallon storage bins. We got them from the store. They're actually cheaper in the store than if you order them online. And I just had them put the pallet in the back of my truck. There was 44 of them. These will hold 48 total once we get everything together, but I already had a few already. All right, so we put 2 of these together already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the quickest and easiest way to get them together because it can be a little confusing. So the first thing we're gonna do is open the box, get things organized. And as I'm cutting, I'm going to cut on this outer edge. Make sure you stay to the outer edge though, because you don't want to scratch up your pipe.
When you open up the box, you'll notice that there are different size tubes and they all have numbers on them. The first thing that we found, the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and just separate those all out according to numbers so you've got all of your tubes organized. You can go ahead and just put your number 4s, 3s, 4s, and 5s together because those are going to be the ends of your rack.
So you'll find a pack of screws within the tubes that are inside, and it's also got this little end cap piece, and you want to save that. So what you're going to need to begin with is this number 1 bag of screws, and it's the small screws. So that's what we're going to use first.
So the first thing you're going to need to find is 2 number 2 poles and 4 number 1 poles, because that's what we're going to put together first, the back of the rack.
So once you find the number 1 pole, there's a couple things you want to look for. You want to look for these little clear plastic pieces. You need to find these little clear plastic pieces. There should be 2 of them on each pole. You want to make sure they're there because that's going to help us get the poles in the right place, and it kind of holds it in place. So if one of those is missing, look for it in the box. I had one box that there was a couple that were missing. I had to put them back in. When you look at the number 2 poles, you'll see there's one hole that's very close to the end. That's actually the bottom. This is where this goes on the bottom. This one would be the top because it's a little bit longer. And the reason I have this up here is just to show you. So what I'm going to actually do now is slide this pole into the hole, and then I'm going to bring it over until it stops on the stopper. And I want the stopper actually facing towards the bottom, the short pieces towards the bottom, because you don't want to see that little clear piece when you have the rack together.
So you need to do one side at a time because otherwise the stopper will be in the way and you can't get them on there.
Yep. Let's flip it the right way because I had the bottom toward the top just so you could see what we were doing a little better. You want to be careful not to force this in when it gets near the stopper, because those little stoppers are very tender. Now for this section, we'll get these started, but then we'll have to use a rubber mallet to get it on the rest of the way because it does get kind of tight. Nice thing about this being plastic actually though is the flexibility of it. You can get things started on one end and then the other. So now I'm going to grab my rubber mallet so I can tap this over.
One thing you need to make sure is that all of these holes are facing the same side. So since we have this here, we're gonna have to twist it. Just before you start doing anything else, make sure all these holes are all facing in the same direction. All right, now you've got, this is the back frame. The next step is to find your number 3 tubes. You should have 2 of those. And we're gonna put those on the ends of the back wall. You do want to make sure, obviously, that you have your smaller section at the bottom, but it won't go on if you don't.
Numbers had fallen off. The way you can tell the number 3 is the small holes go all the way through both sides. And we'll do the same thing on the other side.
Now we're going to go ahead and build the front wall, which we do very much the same way we did the back wall. We're going to find 4. We're going to get the 4 number 1 tubes and 2 number 2s, and we're going to slide those together first. Now we're going to put on the ends of the front wall, and that is going to be number 4 and number 5. Again, you want to make sure on the front wall that all of your little holes are facing the same direction. So number 4 and number 5 have holes on this side. You want to just make sure that your number 1s and your number 4 and 5 are all facing the same direction.
All right, next step is to lay down your rear wall with the holes facing up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our number 8 tubes and we're going to actually put them in all the little holes on the cross slats. So when I do it, I push it in. I also want to make sure that whichever way my short end is, which that's the bottom, that the numbers are facing the bottom, just so they're not sticking up and I see them all the time. So I don't have to remove all of the stickers. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to put these in all of the holes. So our next step is to screw these little posts, the number 8s, in. And what we're going to do is we're going to we're using the small screws and we're doing it from the bottom. Again, the bottom is the shorter piece that sticks out on the mid poles. Now what I'm going to do is I've set my drill to a low speed setting and a very low torque setting as well. I think I've got mine on 6, but it's still not even going to trip the torque setting because with plastic, if you screw it in, it's just going to keep spinning. So what you need to do is do this by feel. As you're putting it in, you just screw it in slowly until it gets to the end and you stop it before it starts doing the extra spinning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these. Each of these has, like, you can actually tilt these right now because we're not screwing the other stuff in, and you can see where the screw hole is. Then we're going to put those in. All right, so we're going to hold my number 8. I'm going to put my screw in. And right as it starts to grab, that's when I'm going to stop because otherwise it'll just keep spinning. Right, so you get all these screwed in. Some of them may look a little wonky when you put them in, just depending on how the screw grabbed, but that'll even itself out. That's the nice thing about plastic, it's all very flexible. So next we're going to grab the
Front wall.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of lay it in between here. And what we're gonna do is, this is where it's handy to have 2 people for sure, because we're going to set the front wall up and get this back row, the bottom row in first. So we're going to kind of tilt this in between, laying it down kind of on an angle. And then we're going to scooch over that way just a little bit more. So it's kind of lined up. And then we're going to come down and line these up. You may have to twist this bar right here, this bottom bar, to get it to line up for these to go into. And I know it looks cattywampus at this point, but it'll actually work itself out. Just push that down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to screw these in. And I know it seems weird because it's on an angle, but it actually works out. All of these slats are always screwed in from the bottom. And as I'm doing it, I'm pushing down to making sure that it's all the way into the hole. So now we're going to do the same thing with the second row. And remember, only screw the things in order as I'm showing you. If you screw other things in ahead of time, you won't have the flexibility for the posts to twist and do things so it all comes together correctly. So now we're going to put in the last two rows. We put those in together, then we'll screw them both in. So it is easier to get the last two rows in together rather than just this row and then just that row. Now we'll screw them both in. Alright, so what I've done is kind of pushed it up against the wall because they do get a little bit cattywampus as you're working on them. Now I'm going to screw in my number 2 poles, which are my 2 center poles, to my number 1 poles, making sure that they're being still lined up with the length markers that I need.
So you're basically just securing all your horizontal and vertical poles together.
Our next step is number 7. These are designed to be mounted to a wall. And I said, I've got a couple that are mounted together and I'll show you that in a little bit. But what you want to do is just come in from the backside, push in your number 7, keeping your sticker to the inside so it's not easily visible on the outside. And then what's going to happen is you got a little end cap here. This end cap's eventually going to screw on, and this part's going to screw to the wall. Now, depending on the situation here, like in the wall here, we have very weird kind of stud situations, so we may have to make some adjustments for that by adding in a piece of 2x4 here and there just to secure that. But let me show you what I did with this other one. I was a little disappointed when I realized they had to be attached to the wall and that they were plastic. Obviously, I was in a hurry when I ordered them. But I was like, okay, well, I can't have it be tippy because I have grandchildren. But I need these freestanding in the middle. I don't have enough wall space. So what I did was I took the 2 pieces, sandwiched them together, and used a bolt with an aircraft nut, or what they call a nylon nut, to secure those together. Now the footprint is so wide, it's very solid. It's not going to tip over. This one is going to go on this wall over here. And then I'm also going to add one more on the very end. So I'll have to do a little different with this, and I'll show you how I do that a little bit later. With the unit comes 2 more sets of screws. These are a little bit longer. There's a number 2 set of screws and then a number 3. The number 2 is what we're going to use to secure these longer poles into all 4 areas. So we're going to do that next. The number 3s are if you're screwing to the wall, that's the number 3s will actually attach to the wall. They also give you some anchors if you're going into drywall, and you need to use that. One word of advice, this is plastic and it's got a lot of static electricity to it. So sweep your floor first. I swept the floor in here. It's still dirty, but if you don't sweep your floor, every piece of dirt in the planet is going to stick to it. So the last thing I'm going to do is screw these on. Now you could wait until you get them mounted, that type of thing, but I'm just going to go ahead and screw it in. Now what I did is I screwed it in so that I can have easy access to unscrew it if I need to. I'm going to put all 4 of those on. That way if I get in there and I get too tight and I need to take it off and screw it onto the board first and then put it in on here, I can do that. All right, so once you use the small screws to put the brackets on for the wall, you're going to have a handful of screws left over. So what I did with these screws is on the 4 poles on the outer edge, I went through and they were already screwed from one side. So then what I'm doing is I'm screwing them in to these from the back side. Now, when I do that, that's going to give me just a little extra support. And then, but the funny thing is there's not enough screws to do all of the beams. So I'm going to do the 4 on the ends, and then the 4 poles that are in the middle, I'm just going to kind of do one here and there with that just to use up the rest of the screws. It'd be nice if they gave you enough to kind of just secure all of it a little additional. But it is very sturdy, so I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Now comes the best part. We're going to put it in place and start putting the tubs in and getting organized.
All right, so what I did is I scabbed in a couple of 2x4s on the top and behind where the brackets are going to go. Don't need it on the bottom because the only thing I'm worried about is the tipping of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that secured into the wall now. And I'm going to use the screws that they provided. All right, so we got the final one put together, and what I needed to do is figure out some way to secure this to what we already had. Now, you ask, well, why don't you just cut these off, pull it up, and maybe zip tie it like that or something? Well, with the tubs, the way this is designed, it's not wide enough. It has to come through further, so you need that extra space. So then I was thinking, well, maybe I'd use a 2x4, maybe I'd use some additional like piping and stuff and make it, but I had some pieces of cedar out back, and cedar's lightweight, but it's really strong. So what I did is I ran the cedar down there, and then you can see I left the zip tie long so you could see it all the way across the top, all the way across the bottom. Up here, I was able to get 2 of the screws into the flanges up here on each one, so they're very solid, and it's made this whole thing even more solid. So the big thing is that you don't want it to be able to tip on somebody, that type of thing, especially with the kids if they're trying to crawl on things. So that worked out pretty good. In a perfect world, I would have either stained these black or painted these black. I just don't have time. I have way too many projects and I really don't care. But if you were trying to make it look nice, you might want to do something like that. But we're super tickled with how much storage we do have now. And for the freeze drying food, you can see, we can have this whole tub full of freeze-dried spaghetti, chicken Alfredo, that type of thing. So when we're going on the trail, we've got it. When we travel, also if it goes badly, we're in good shape. All we need is water. So remember, doing things yourself helps you clean up your garage maybe, but it also allows you to save money. And of course, the biggest thing of all, it allows you to be free. See you in the next project.